Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Money Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres to keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, moneymatterstoptips.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have Jeff Anzalone on the line. He's founder over at debtfreedr.com. Jeff, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me. Looking forward to it.
So I'm excited to get into the show topic today. So your passive income for high income earners through real estate. So that's what you're doing over at Debt Free DR. First, tell us a little bit more about the company, please.
Well, actually, I started the website about a little over 2 years ago. Wanted to share my journey of having my wife and I had close to $300,000 of student loan debt when we got out, which most physicians, dentists, attorneys, more, I guess, white collar professionals have. And I unfortunately had a job offer right before I graduated fall through. So I had to basically shift into survival mode and learn how to start a practice, run a business on my own, on top of having, all this debt to pay off. So I wanted just to share my experience with other people to kind of let them know maybe some of the pitfalls or failures to avoid. And then also I started giving just basic investment advice, index funds, 401k, stock market, that sort of thing. But really where my passion was, and I really fell in love with creating passive income streams, because most people are so focused on their earned or active income. And if, what happens if something happens to that for most people, including myself? Well, if no money's coming in, that earned income, your active income, then, it's not good. So I started looking into ways to build multiple streams of different passive income opportunities. So now that's the type of information that I share on the site.
Man, I love that. I love your story too, because I love that you bring that up. If people stop coming in, if you stop working, if something happens, of course you have your insurances and things like that, but that doesn't necessarily last a lifetime. Like they don't let you insure yourself for that much. So if you're for whatever reason out of the game, like that passive income stream is just so important long term. So what has been I love when people do this. So you're successful in your practice, of course, and then you have this call to want to share your story and to really do it in an authentic way. So what has been your experience from the people that you've helped and that you've kind of interacted from this? And the reason I want to start off there instead of the nuances of the real estate part is because I know there's some other people out there listening that have some really interesting things to share with the world, and they're holding back. And I'm like, so when I see you doing this, I'm like, that's awesome. You just went out there and did it. It doesn't mean that you have to change your whole life, but you're still taking that step, and I'm hoping we can inspire them to do the same thing. So what has been your experience in launching this site and in launching this initiative?
Well, I think what's, for me and probably for most people, probably yourself included, we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for other people. So, I've looked back over my lifetime and my career, and I've just seen so many people that have helped me along the way. When that deal fell through, when I got out of my residency, I had another doctor reach out to me. He said, look, I heard about your situation. You can come rent for me. I'll help you with, I didn't even know the guy. And he was just like helping me. So, yeah, so literally, everything, I think happens for a reason. But if people look back and look in the rearview mirror, they'll see that, all these people that have helped them. So when I started doing this for myself and my family regarding the passive income, I said, you know what, there's probably a lot of people out there that, number one, have never heard of a passive income or real estate syndication, because at that point I hadn't either. And I had a fair amount of education up until that point. So I just started, putting that information out, and man, the response from it, people reaching out and tell me more about it and tell me about your experience and that sort of thing has kind of, I guess, really pushed me to do more just because I see how much interest and excitement people have when they start reading about it.
Man, I love it. I love it, and it's one of those things that just grows. So that's awesome, and congrats on that. So now let's get into some of the mechanics of the information that you teach and kind of your system on debtfreedr.com.
Well, the main thing that I do is basically just share my personal experiences. I'm not selling anything. That's probably one of the number one things that people will ask when I jump on a call with them is, you can kind of sense that little bit of nervousness, like, hey, what is he trying to sell me? And and after we talk, they're like, man, I can't believe you're not selling a course or a book or a coaching program or something. And I'm like, no, I'm just, giving out information. So, and I just tell them my story, a little bit about, like I just told you, how I have come to find out about passive income, what's involved with real estate syndications, what it is. I don't know how much in depth you want me to go for your listeners, so just kind of guide me there.
So, what's your process for you? I mean, are you doing real estate syndication? What's your investment style? Are you in multifamily, single family homes? Give us a little bit of feel for what you're doing.
Yeah, after a little bit of trial and error, I've found my best results have been with multifamily apartment syndications. The most of them are Class B, which Class A would be like new construction, very top of the line. B would be a little bit older, and these are all value add, meaning the people, the group, the sponsors, they can buy these a little bit older apartments, fix them up, rehab them, increase the rent over, and it's typically a 5-year hold period, increase the rent, which all these deals will pay you either monthly or quarterly, tax-free, because of the depreciation you get. All the ones that I'm personally in pay monthly. So you get you don't get a check, but you get a direct deposit, which is really nice because, every time I invest in a deal, that's just another income stream I'm adding to my family, to our account. And typically, like I said, that goes on for 5 years, and then they turn around and the group will sell. And at that time, there's usually a 70-30 profit split. So 70% of the profit goes to the investors, and then 30% goes to the general partners. So to make it really easy, it's called a 2x equity multiple. So meaning you double your money every 5 years, which it's really hard to do that anywhere else that I can find, in the stock market or anything like that. So it's pretty cool.
No, that's awesome. And what geographies do you like investing in? So what areas?
Typically, the areas that I'm personally in are in the South and the Southeast. So I'm in the Texas area, Dallas, Fort Worth, Irving, on the East Coast, North Carolina, and then now we're looking at some areas in Florida as well. So that's typically the areas that I mainly have focused on for myself and my family.
What attracts you to these areas?
I think, I live in Louisiana, so I guess geographically, if I need to go or if I want to go and physically view the property, I'm invited to do that with the sponsors because I have relationships with them. It's really easy for me to do that. Plus, all of these areas are really booming. There's a lot of jobs coming in, Amazon's coming in and building all these distribution centers. There's just a ton of growth in all of these areas. So typically if I get in one area and then another property that's coming in within, a 3 to 5 mile radius, I like to kind of stay in areas that's really performing.
That's awesome. And let's get back to the site. So for the people listening, if they want more information, if they want to get involved with what you're doing, what's the best way for them to follow up? What's the best way for them to learn more?
Yeah, great. Two ways. They could go to the site, debtfreedr.com, or if they have any questions or want to email me directly, it is Jeff, Jeff, at debtfreedr.com.
Fantastic. Well, hey, Jeff, it's been awesome having you on the show. I love what you're doing. I love that you came on and shared your story, and I think that you're being an amazing resource. And everybody listening, I've checked out the site, debtfreedr.com. Definitely go check this out. There's a lot of resources. Guys, it's really easy to use. You just click on the little start here, and you'll hear the whole story, or you'll see the whole story, how it started, and what Jeff's up to. So, Jeff, thanks again for coming on. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. Leave me a review on the Apple iTunes Store. If you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Money, then leave us some comments in the comment section. Love to hear what areas you're investing in. Let's not let the conversation end here. Let's move it to the YouTube community. Love to connect with you there. And Jeff, thanks again for coming on the show.